Hi everybody, it's Alan Beebe and you're at TrueAiki.com. This week we're going to go over Tandokudosa number 2. On the blog I talked about Tandokudosa 0. There is a 0 and then there's a 13 and they loop. They're kind of similar in action or non-action, movement and stillness. With number 0, I'm sitting as a tetrahedron. My legs are expanding down, my head is expanding up, my shoulders are expanding out, my elbows are expanding down, my fingers are expanding outwards, my frontal part of my body is expanding this way, the back part of my body is going backwards, and so as a sphere, I'm opening up, okay? And I'm doing that without contraction, all right? Then Tandokudosa number 1, I took that one step further, and these started to spiral outward. This is opening up. These are going to go down. This joint is actually closing on this one. And then my arms open. There's actually a closing at this point. And when it gets closed, this is opening, and then this is opening, this is actually closing at the top. So this is a phasal relationship. Once this phase gets reached, it normally goes into the opposite phase, and then I'm going to come back down again. Okay. This is not a technique, it's an exercise. So don't look for a technique in it. What we're practicing with this exercise will be integrated into other techniques, but we don't usually go to the very ends. We do on our training because we want to expand our parameters of movement. In execution, we don't go to the ends because that could present vulnerabilities. All right. When I come up on Tandokudosa number 1, this is coming outwards. Okay. When I come back, this is coming outwards. So it's again a yin-yang. Open here. Open back, open here, open back. That one's for Gary Welburn. All right, then Tandokudosa number 2. I'm going to start with Tandokudosa number 1. They start the same. Then I'm going to have torsion going in opposite directions. Okay, there's 2 ways of doing this. One is having this stay dead straight and this rotates against it. Okay, I like this one very much for the exercise because they're rotating against each other, so it becomes quite tight, and that's good for conditioning. The other way would be to have this torsion this way, and it pulls this one along. Okay, let's talk about the arms now. The elbows, it's important where those are. We don't want them to go past our coronal plane, and we don't want them to come too far forward. How far forward can you go? Well, as a general rule, the best thing to do is Make sure your scapula, your back is flat. Your scaps aren't pointed out. And then you put your palms together and it'll put your elbows right where they can go. All right? And you might have seen this kind of posture in other exercises, and we'll be going over those later. There's a ton going on. Really great exercises that often are not understood. So when I come up, if I'm coming up with my center forward, all right, and this is rotating against, again, my elbows are right where they ought to be. If I come and I rotate this way, then you'll notice the hand changes slightly. All right? My elbows are where they're supposed to be still, but the hands look a bit different. All right? I think it's good to work both sides. If I rotate, I want to rotate, be able to rotate as far as I possibly can this direction and leave this leg. That's opening up and training that area. Okay? I want to be able to keep this forward and have the lower half turn as far as it possibly can this way. And again, it works the far range of the motion. So you'll see this interesting use of the leg in the following exercises, where I'm rotated fully on the leg, and then I'm either rotating fully into it or against it. It makes a ton of sense for training, because you're going to the edges, you're going to the end of your ability parameter, and you're asking it to do a little bit more. In application, we don't do that because we want to stay away from our end parameters and stay where we are operating optimally. All right? So don't get confused. Again, these are dosa, these are exercises, and so we're purposefully putting ourselves into vulnerable positions to maximize our potential later on, but we won't put ourselves into those vulnerable positions. Okay? The arms, this arm is rotating this way, and this, it would look like this. This arm's rotating this way, it would look like this. Okay? But I move the hand in the opposite direction. It's kind of like this, where this stays put and these rotate around it. The same thing that's going on down here. All right? They could be reversed. There's, no law saying one way or the other. But what you want to do is make sure that you have the opposite rotations on there, and something is actually rotating. So, just because you assume a posture, don't assume that you're doing everything you possibly can. In fact, assume the opposite and always be gently asking for a little bit more. When I come up, as in Tandokudosa number 1, I'm breathing in and I'm opening my body. And I'm breathing out. And I'm closing my body. Same with Tandokudosa number 2. I open up and I breathe in. Slid that knee in a little bit. That's a no-no. So this is open and then close. Okay? Open and close. Okay? If it's easy, you're probably doing it wrong. Remember, again, we want to be going to our outer limits on these things. Make sure that you're keeping your head extending. These are going down. Everything's going out. So this is coming up. A lot of people, when they come up, like for example, Tandokudosa number 1, they want to bring all their weight from here. Is not bad, but they want to bring all their weight over their knees so that they can open up. All right? Well, that's not a tetrahedron, and that's not the exercise. So you can come so your weight here is in the middle. Then the angles start opening up. That's kind of the big emphasis on Tandokudosa number 1. All these are opening. Okay? When you get to here, you want to come out as far as you can without locking. You don't want to get to the end. So when you get to here and you can feel yourself about to lock out, don't. Okay? There's invisible fingers not letting you go there. And you keep the tissue moving and saying, we want more, we want more, we want more. Okay? And then this, you can actually send the vertebra backwards and it pulls your balance back and everything is closing down. All right? Tandokudosa number 1 is just the same motion as we come forward. So again, don't go, I'm going to put my weight over on this knee. I'm going to lift my leg up. That defeats the purpose of the exercise. So I'm opening and I'm torsioning. Okay? And I want to go equal and opposite. So I'm going up and down. All right? Well, I'm going to call it quits with that. There'll be more. I got lots to show you, but I'm trying to balance the quality of the production and the content of the production with the timing, so that you don't have to wait so long for the stuff to come out. I'm hoping that this will be useful for as many people as possible. Usually the people who find it particularly useful are the people who have trained with me, because obviously there's a lot more feedback and repetition, and so there's a better understanding of what it is we're trying to accomplish. One of my friends suggested that I go back to Aiki 1, Aiki 2, and Aiki 3 and show how we can use push tests to develop Aiki 1, Aiki 2, and Aiki 3. So I think that is a terrific idea. And as I progress with the Tandokudosa, we'll probably do the same with those as well. And that's where maybe some of you who haven't had a chance to train with, for example, Dan Harden, or have not come to one of my seminars, you might begin to understand a little bit more what we're trying to work on here beyond just the outward physical movements. When I emphasize that you can't see what's going on, I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I'm just actually stating a fact that applies to me as much as anybody else. And so you want to avail yourself of the opportunity to open these things up as quickly as you can, because it's going to make your practice more productive. All right, until next week, thank you for joining me here on, where am I? On TrueAiki.com, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.